You're listening to the Valley Labor Report.
Alabama's only union talk radio show. This is the Valley Labor Report. My name is Jacob Morrison, here with my co-host Adam Keller. We've got a caller on the line, but really quick before we go to the caller, I want to make sure that people hear about this because it's an important thing that's happened in our country. The Biden administration just was able to get through their appointment of the General Counsel for the National Labor Relations Board, Jennifer Abruzza. She was confirmed to the General Counsel along party lines. Not a single Republican voted for her, which is insane. And you know, I think, look, we're obviously, we talk bad about Democrats, but, you know, like there's a difference, right? There's a difference. And so she just released her memo talking about where the direction and the types of cases that she wants to take up, that she wants the National Labor Relations Board to take up and overturn. And we had, maybe about this time last year again, we had a conversation with Paul Prescott. He is with the Philadelphia Federation of Teachers. He wrote an article for Labor Notes about some of the Trump administration's National Labor Relations Board, some of their rulings that were really anti-worker and some of the precedents that they set that were really anti-worker. So I would direct you to that article that he wrote, that video that we did with him, and Abruzza's memo as newly confirmed General Counsel of the National Labor Relations Board has laid out things that she is going to be looking to overturn, which is most of the Trump-era decisions, and as well as she is taking a look at some long dormant cases, namely including the Joy Silk doctrine, which is really, really interesting. I want to direct everybody to Brandon Magner's Substack, Labor Law Lite, that's spelled Lite, on Substack, because he really dives deep into this, and it's really interesting. So just a super quick overview, dating back to 1949, Joy Silk held that, this is the doctrine, the Joy Silk doctrine held that if an employer was presented with a union's request for recognition and the employer did not possess a good faith doubt as to the union's majority status when it refused to recognize a union, an employer was said to have violated Section 8A5 of the National Labor Relations Act and be ordered to bargain with the union. An employer, and if they were granted to have a good faith doubt and then they broke the law, that was overturned, and then they had to bargain with the union. And this is pretty simple because currently the law just basically assumes that the union is lying and assumes that the union or that the employer has a good faith doubt. And there's no reason to assume that. There's absolutely no reason to assume that. And the punishment for breaking the law over the course of a union election is really common sense, because look, if an employer has a good faith doubt as to the union's majority status, they don't need to break the law. They just need to have an election, and you can do that, and this allows for that. But you've got to have, if a union comes up to you with saying that they've got a majority representation and they've got a independent party looking at the authorization cards, and you don't have a good faith doubt, then you can't force workers to go through, an anti-union barrage of nonsense if they've already made the decision. Because ultimately, unions are about worker self-organization. They're not about the bosses coming in and telling workers what they can and can't do. And the New York Times, funnily enough, speaking of, not being shills for like liberal establishment, the New York Times, as an employer, just made the case for why this is important, because it was reported out by the Daily Beast that they accidentally sent out one of their anti-union talking points to a union organizer for the New York Times tech workers, and talking about their strategy to try to break up the union. And it was clear that this was bad faith. But under current law, the Times management is allowed to barrel ahead to an election regardless of the fact that they know the union enjoys majority support, even if management's intent is solely to stall an attempt to undermine the union. Under Joyce Silk, the management's lack of good faith doubt about the union's majority status means that it is required to bargain with the union, regardless of whether there has been election to certify that majority. And the New York Times potential unlawful conduct in the interim is merely icing on the cake. So that's really important stuff. Check out Brandon Magner's Substack. If you want to see what we're up to throughout the week and get our snide quips about the news of the day, then you should follow us on social media. We are on Facebook at facebook.com/The Valley Labor Report. We're on Twitter at Labor Reporters. I'm on Twitter at JacobM_AL. If you missed part of the show and you want to go back and watch it later, you can search YouTube for The Valley Labor Report and subscribe to our channel. You can go back and watch the full show there, and we also clip segments and release them throughout the week. We upload the program on more than 11 different podcasting apps, so to see if we are on your listening platform of choice, you can go to thevalleylaborreport.transistor.fm/subscribe, and we've got a website where you can buy our stickers. We are all out of hats now, so you can still go and buy our stickers, though, at thevalleylaborreport.org. And we want to do a T-shirt drop here in the future, and we think we like the idea of doing some kind of graphic tee. With some sort of like labor theme. So if you have any ideas about that, then, let us know. Send us a DM on Twitter or Facebook, whatever you think would look cool. And if we get any cool ideas, we want to commission a local artist to do that for us. And so let us know. We are open to ideas. I've got at least one cool idea that we're bouncing around right now already. So, but more are always welcome. And finally, if you appreciate our work and you want to help us stay on the air, then the best thing that you can do is throw us a few dollars a month on patreon.com/The Valley Labor Report. As you can imagine, businesses don't line up to advertise on a Union Talk radio show, so your support really does help us out.